You've spent decades working hard, saving, doing everything right. But here's the harsh truth. If you're still working after 60, not because you want to, but because you have to, you could be walking straight into a financial disaster. Rising healthcare costs, taxes on Social Security, and market downturns are silently draining your retirement lifeline. Most Americans don't see it coming until it's too late. What's the hidden danger no one talks about? The answer may shock you, right? If you're over 50 and worried about your retirement, you're not alone. Millions of Americans are in the same boat. This channel is here to help you protect what you've built, avoid costly mistakes, and retire with confidence. So, if that's important to you, hit the subscribe button now, because what you don't know about retirement can cost you everything. The illusion of security. Why working longer doesn't always mean retiring better for many Americans over 60. Continuing to work feels like the safest decision. More income, more savings, fewer withdrawals. Sounds responsible, right? But behind that logic hides a dangerous illusion. Working longer does not guarantee a more secure retirement. In fact, for many, it can quietly erode the very foundation of financial freedom they've been trying to build. Let's start with the obvious: inflation. Over the last 20 years, the cost of living has nearly doubled. Groceries, housing, and especially healthcare have climbed at alarming rates. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, average healthcare spending for people over 65 has increased by over 45% in the last decade alone. So, while you're working to save more, your expenses are rising even faster, eating away the value of your future retirement fund. Now let's talk about opportunity cost. Every extra year you spend working is one less year you get to enjoy your savings. More importantly, it's one less year your money has to grow under smart investment strategies. People often forget time is a form of wealth. If you delay retirement thinking you're adding security, you may actually be sacrificing the years when you're healthy enough to enjoy what you worked so hard for. And then there's risk. Older workers often rely on market-driven accounts like 401ks and IRAs. But market downturns like 2008 or 2020 can wipe out years of gains in months. If you're still working during a downturn and planning to retire soon, you might be forced to retire at a loss. In short, working longer can feel like control, but it can also be a trap. The real key isn't how long you work, but how smartly you prepare. Social Security penalties, how working past 60 can shrink your benefits. Most people think they're increasing their retirement security by working longer, but few realize that their Social Security benefits might actually decrease because of it. Yes, you read that right. Earning more money past age 60 can reduce the benefits you worked your whole life to receive. Here's how it works. If you start collecting Social Security before your full retirement age, which is currently between 66 and 67 depending on your birth year, and continue working, you could be penalized. For 2025, if you earn more than $22,320 while receiving benefits early, the Social Security Administration will withhold $1 for every $2 you earn above that limit. And no, that money doesn't just come back to you automatically later. Let's say you're 64, earning $40,000 a year, and you've already started collecting benefits. You'd be over the earnings limit by $17,680. That could mean losing nearly $9,000 in benefits in a single year. Multiply that by a few years, and you're looking at tens of thousands in lost income, just because you didn't understand how the system works. It gets even more complicated when you factor in taxes. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxable if your total income exceeds certain thresholds. That includes wages, withdrawals from retirement accounts, and even dividends. So instead of adding financial security, your job might be pushing you into higher taxes and shrinking your net income. The takeaway? Timing matters. Strategic planning, like delaying benefits or adjusting work income, can save you thousands. Warren Buffett once said, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." When it comes to Social Security, knowing the rules can mean the difference between a comfortable retirement and one full of unnecessary losses. The tax trap. More income, just more taxes, and less retirement money. It sounds simple. Earn more, save more, retire safer. But when it comes to retirement, more income doesn't always mean more security. It often means more taxes, and those taxes can quietly eat away at the money you thought was safe for your future. Here's the hard truth. Once you start withdrawing from your retirement accounts, like 401ks or traditional IRAs, those withdrawals count as ordinary income. Add a salary or freelance income on top, and you could find yourself in a higher tax bracket than expected. That doesn't just affect your tax bill, it can also increase how much you pay for Medicare premiums and how much of your Social Security gets taxed. Let's break it down. Say you're 66, collecting Social Security, and you decide to keep working part-time. You also start withdrawing from your IRA to cover expenses. All of that income combined could push you above the income threshold set by the IRS. Suddenly, 85% of your Social Security is taxable. Your Medicare premiums jump. And the extra income you thought would help? You might only keep 60 to 70% of it after taxes. Most people don't plan for this because they assume retirement means lower taxes. But, according to a study by the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, many middle-income retirees actually pay more in taxes in retirement than they did while working, especially if they follow the outdated strategy of save and delay. Warren Buffett often warns investors not to focus on gross returns, but on what you actually keep after costs and taxes. The same applies to retirement income. A smarter strategy is about optimization, not accumulation. Minimizing taxes, planning your withdrawal timing, and knowing exactly when income becomes a liability, not an asset. Health and time, the most valuable assets you're spending. Without realizing, most people spend their healthiest years chasing money, and then spend their money trying to get those years back. When you work past 60 not by choice, but out of fear, you may be sacrificing two things far more valuable than a paycheck: your health and your time. According to the National Council on Aging, over 80% of adults aged 65 and older have at least one chronic condition. That number rises with age. Every year you continue working in high-stress or physically demanding environments increases the risk of long-term health complications, especially if you're neglecting regular rest, movement, and a balanced lifestyle. The emotional toll is real too. Studies show that stress from financial insecurity and extended work life significantly increases the risk of anxiety, depression, and even cardiovascular disease. But there's a deeper cost here. One that's harder to measure: lost time. Time with your spouse, time with your grandchildren, time to travel, to volunteer, to finally pursue the passions you shelved for decades. These are the years you were working for, and every additional year spent waiting for the right time to retire could be another year lost to illness, fatigue, or simply the slow decline that aging brings. Warren Buffett once said, "You can't buy time. No matter how much you save or earn, you can't add more years to your life or more life to your years. What you can do is protect the ones you have left." The truth is, your retirement isn't just about money, it's about freedom. And if you don't protect your health and time as carefully as your portfolio, you may wake up one day and realize the real wealth slipped away while you were busy working. The cost of delay: what you're losing by not retiring. Sooner, there's a hidden cost to every extra year you postpone retirement, and it's not just financial. Delaying your exit from work might seem like the smart choice, but for many it ends up being one of the most expensive decisions of their lives. First, let's talk about lost experiences. The window to truly enjoy retirement, when you're still healthy, energetic, and independent, is shorter than most people think. According to the CDC, the average American retires at age 64 but begins experiencing significant health declines by 70. That gives you roughly 6 years, at best, of vibrant, active retirement. Every year you delay is a year you may never get back in the same condition. Then there's the emotional cost. Many retirees who waited too long report deep regret for missed milestones, birthdays, graduations, family vacations. These aren't just moments, they're memories you can't reschedule. And while you're working to add more digits to your retirement account, life keeps moving, and those moments are slipping away. Financially, waiting can backfire too. If you're living frugally just to retire with enough, remember this: More money later doesn't always mean more freedom. It might just mean more taxes, more complexity, and fewer years to enjoy what you saved. Warren Buffett built his wealth by acting early and focusing on what truly matters. He often says, "The best investment you can make is in yourself." And sometimes that means knowing when to stop trading your time for dollars and start using your dollars to buy back your time. Retirement isn't just an age, it's a decision, and the longer you delay it without a clear plan, the more you risk losing the life you worked so hard to create. Warren Buffett's principle, make money, work for you, not the other way. Warren Buffett didn't build his fortune by working longer hours. He built it by making every dollar work harder than he did. For anyone over 60 still relying on earned income to feel secure, that principle should be a wake-up call. The goal isn't to keep working for money. It's to free yourself from needing to. Buffett's strategy is built on one timeless idea. Compound interest and passive income are more powerful than active labor. The problem is many retirees or near retirees are still caught in the mindset that the only way to stay financially afloat is to keep earning. But as Buffett has shown repeatedly, real wealth comes from ownership of stocks, businesses, real estate, not employment. Let's apply this to retirement. If your money is sitting in low-yield savings or underperforming accounts, it's not working for you. If you're withdrawing blindly from your 401k without a tax strategy, you're probably handing a chunk of your income straight to the IRS. And if your retirement plan depends on how long you can keep working, you're exposing yourself to risk, not creating stability. What Buffett recommends is the opposite. Structured, smart investments that generate reliable, tax-efficient income, so your assets support you, not the other way around. That might mean shifting part of your portfolio to dividend-paying stocks, municipal bonds, or annuities that preserve capital and produce steady cash flow. It might also mean working with a financial advisor to create a withdrawal strategy that minimizes taxes and extends the life of your nest egg. The longer you work for money, the longer you delay freedom. Buffett's success proves that the earlier you make your money serve you, the sooner you can focus on what matters most: health, family, and peace of mind. A smarter exit plan: how to retire with strategy. Not regret. Retiring isn't about picking a date. It's about choosing a strategy. And too many people over 60 are still working, not because they want to, but because they don't know how to stop. They don't have a plan. But with the right guidance, you can retire with confidence and without regret. The smartest exit plans start by answering one question: how can I make my money last longer than I do? That means focusing not just on how much you've saved, but how you'll use those savings. Start by organizing your income streams: Social Security, 401k, IRA, pensions, and personal investments, and structuring them in the most tax-efficient way possible. Every dollar saved on taxes is a dollar that stays in your pocket. Next, protect yourself against what Warren Buffett calls the silent killers of wealth: inflation, medical expenses, and poor planning. Inflation alone reduces your buying power every year, so your retirement income must be built to grow, not just sit still. Consider adding inflation-protected investments like TIPS or dividend growth stocks to your portfolio. And don't overlook healthcare. A couple retiring today could face over $300,000 in out-of-pocket medical expenses throughout retirement. Long-term care insurance, health savings accounts, HSAs, and Medicare planning aren't luxuries. They're essentials. Finally, automate your income and spending. Create a monthly retirement paycheck using systematic withdrawals. Know your fixed expenses, rebalance your portfolio annually, and most importantly, have a contingency plan. Whether it's a market downturn or a health emergency, the strongest retirement plans include buffers. You've worked hard for decades. Now it's time to make sure your next chapter is lived on your terms, with clarity, confidence, and control. Don't let the lack of a plan keep you trapped in the cycle of work. A smart exit isn't about quitting. It's about finally arriving at the life you deserve. If you're still working after 60 without a clear plan, you're taking a risk you can't afford. Every month you wait could cost you thousands or years of the retirement you've earned. Don't leave your future to chance. Subscribe now and take control before it's too late.